Good morning. I'm going to try and do this video without the disturbances behind me. I tried to do it earlier. I actually filmed a whole video earlier only for the sound to have been off. Ah! But anyway, I'm here to retake it. I wanted to tell you all about Fem Power. I wanted to tell you how we started and how we got here. So I'm going to take you to the beginning and how I've just always been a girl's girl. Obviously, the connections I've made with women over the years has always been profound. No matter if they're not my friends anymore, it's always been profound in the way that they've made me a better person. Even the ones that, that didn't end as beautiful as I would have wanted them to end. And with that being said, if you ask my mom about me as a child, she'll tell you that I've always been this person. I always want to take someone with me. And that has always been my mindset. I remember this one incident that happened that always makes me reflect and remind me of how much I love taking women with me, and why I always say that there is a place for all of us under the sun. So a few years ago, just after I finished school, a friend and I went job hunting, because obviously we needed to do something before we knew what we were going to do with our lives. We then we went from restaurant to restaurant, and I remember my mom telling me specifically, you can't look for a job with someone. Like, that's the one thing you should not be doing. People's going to hire one of you, and one of you going to walk away hurt. And my answer to her was, but at least they'll be able to choose. And I feel like that actually says a lot about the character I was back then. Obviously, since then, a lot changed, and I am still that person, but even more so now. If I can make a way, if I can find a way for you to somehow know your worth, somehow know that there's big, massive things inside of you, I will go all out. Like, that is just who I am. That's what I stand for. And with that being said, I genuinely think Fem Power fell into not my lap, but it was so God ordained and aligned for me, because it's who I've been my whole life. With Fem Power comes the power of women igniting together. And I always say that when women come together, there is a power. There's a power that ignites, and that's where the name actually comes from. So I started, it's actually profound that I'm sitting here at Old McDaddy. We are here for the launch of the tiny homes. I was invited here, and the exciting thing is I was invited here as Fem Power, and not as a content creator, which is absolutely beautiful and just so aligned. It's just so beautiful. And with that being said, I actually did content creation, and they mentioned that they wanted to do like a group stay. So I said, well, I've got a few friends, we can do that. And then from that specific trip, people asked me about it, and I just find it so God ordained that this is where I'm sitting and filming the video as we are celebrating our second birthday tomorrow. Ooh, I felt it in my heart now. Ooh. I am actually so grateful that I can sit here and have this conversation with you. So when we had the group trip and we came back from the group trip, a lot of people asked me, do you do this for friends? Is it family? Or how can I join? And I found it was so weird that people asked me about it. That is how the first actual trip came about in February 2023. It was because of the collaborations that I did with Old McDaddy, and then people asking the questions. I then said, well, I don't do this, and it was a collaboration, but I can plan one. So I did that, and that trip was never meant to be Fem Power. It was meant to be a once-off. It was meant to be just like a, get together. It was never meant to be what it is now. So what happened from that trip was, the ladies at the trip, we had deep moments, and it was so profound. It was just so intense that the people that attended that trip said, there's no way that you cannot make this a thing. There's no way that other women can't experience this. So based off of that, we basically got to this point now where I am telling you about 2 years later. So I know that apart from the fact that it's so profound that Fem Power is what it is now, I want you to understand that women started this. I am the founder. I am the one that is doing the things on the ground. But I want you to understand that it was never my plan only. Those women said other people need to experience this. And with that being said, I really want you to understand, like completely understand, that even where Fem Power is at now, it is not even entirely my baby. This is really driven by women. People suggest trips, I make it happen. People suggest destinations, I make it happen. And I make it happen in the sense of I provide it to them and they are the ones buying into it. When we are on an actual trip, the people that join the trip are the ones making it happen. Fem Power is driven by its community. And I love that for us. I love that it is not a one-man band. Because if it was a one-man band, then I might as well have been being a solo traveler. So do you understand why I say that it is not my thing? It is really every woman that is part of Fem Power's thing. We are called Fem Gems, just so by the way, because all these people that come on the trip leaves somebody with something. There's friendships, connections, and so much that has come from it. So Fem Power actually went through a phase where I thought it was going to be no more. And that was before the Bali trip where I've lost and gone into a minus. And by the grace of God, and I'm going to testify and talk about this tomorrow at the event and tell people the story. But there was a woman, Bali was put me in a minus. Bali was also the time I decided I don't think this can continue. My husband and I even said, you know what, it's not working. We kind of made the decision in a weird way that, you know what, it's okay. I was gonna see how I was gonna be able to recoup from the monies I lost. And after that, decided, you know what, I'm not going with on the Bali trip. I arranged everything for them. They were gonna go. They didn't have to post because there wasn't much, because it was not gonna continue. And then one lady on the trip came to me. Oh, yes, one lady that joined the trip, and I shared a room with her in Durban a month before that. And one evening we were talking, and my eyes filled with tears as I was talking about Fem Power, and I cried. And she could see my heart in that moment. But remember, this was before the realization hitting me that Fem Power will kind of be no more. And she said, you know, God spoke to her, and she wants to invest, and she wants to loan me the money as almost like an investment in this dream of mine. And that was for me to go on the trip, for me to do the content, for me to restart and to recover from my losses. And I said to her, I am already in a minus. I don't think I want to take out another loan. No, I don't think that's for me. And she said, go pray about it. At that time, I knew my husband might not buy into it because, firstly, I'm taking this risk, again, a bigger risk. Oh, why do I want to cry? Ooh. And then I said to her that I'll get back to her. I told my husband, but at that time, I did not want to put the financial pressure on him, especially because I came from a business already and I've made so many mistakes and lessons and things in that business. And yes, I've had the gains and the success as well, but you need to understand that God gave me an instruction a year before I closed the business to close it, and I didn't. So whatever losses and anything occurred in the last year in the previous business kind of I felt on me because I got clear instructions, very clear instructions to close it when I had to, and I didn't. So basically, at the end of the day, oh, it's beautiful. So basically, at the end of the day, I was left with making this decision. And I said to God, I know my husband is not going to agree to it. I felt like it wasn't at that time because it's just more debt at that point. And I was already going in a minus because of the losses and the cancellations. I don't think there's something I'm trying very hard to figure out how I'm going to manage the cancellations and losses in my business, because it does affect me big time when it comes to Fem Power. But I I think that is also part of the learning, and that was why I couldn't go to Bali. That was why the business was going to close. That was why there was almost going to be no more Fem Power. And that is the norm when it comes to this type of business. It is the risk of cancellations. You've paid for things, and I need to tighten my belt a bit more when it comes to that. But I also don't want to tighten it too much that people are unable to experience it. I will find the balance at the right time. But you know what? We are here, we are learning. um, I then spoke to my husband and I told him to take his time, because if it was immediately, he would have said no because of our circumstances. During the time I told him to take his time, I was praying and saying to God, if he says yes to this, it means that the empower will continue. But if my husband's blessing is not on this, then I'm not going to continue, because I need him as my leader to bless what I'm doing so that I'm able to fulfill the purpose. And just have a sip of water. My husband came back 2 days later and he said to me, I think you should continue. I think you should accept the offer and just put out trips to be able to recover from the losses. And that was the sign I needed. That was the answer I needed. And so I decided that I was going to do this with so much passion and full force. Bali was a very, why do I want to cry? Bali was a very emotional trip for me for so many reasons. And when I came back, I don't know if you remember watching my last Bali vlog where I just cried the entire trip. I had this bag of tissues that I found in my bag like when I came back, and I remember getting rid of it a few months later only because I realized, yeah, these tissues talk about all the feelings and just the emotions I was going through. And I think that when people look at Fem Power, they just see the trips and the nice things. I am getting so emotional. Before every trip, I go into fasting and praying. Before every trip, if I don't fast, I am prayed up that entire week, heavily prayed up, because there's so many personalities, characters, and people that come together. Sometimes people come on these trips because they are experiencing hurt and they just want to break away from it and take a break from it. And hurt people sometimes hurt people, and that's why I'm so prayed up that when they come into the space and the environment, that they really feel not just the love of God, but the love of the love that women genuinely have for each other. Because women, we need each other. We actually deep down love each other so much because we want to see each other thrive. But the layers and the hurt of life have taught us so, not have taught us, but actually is the reason why it's hard for us to just let go and to just, you know, take off the guard and the mask. Sisters are meant to help each other and uplift each other. There is so much that you have to be prepared for, from a psychological perspective, from an emotional perspective. And I think a lot of the things you learn, the lessons as you go. There's been trips where I've cried so much that that I was like, oh my gosh, let's just continue. There's been trips where I could say, God, you answered. But every single trip, God has been present. Every single trip, they might not even know that I bawled my eyes out, but I'll still show up the way I'm supposed to show up, because God is a God of excellence, and I need to show up for Him because He brought all these women together. So here we are, 2 years later, on a journey that's unfolding. This beginning of this year, I said to my assistant, I don't even call her my assistant. She is literally my right hand. I recently appointed her, and I said to her that I am just at that place now where I just want to make sure I'm doing what God instructed me to do, because it's growing. There's growth in Fem Power. But I said to her, I just want to make sure, is this what God wanted? Does He want collaborators to come, and does He want us to expand? Because that is what we've done. We're partnering with people because I can't be thinly stretched. My family is my ministry, my marriage is my ministry, and I can't neglect that. So I need to make sure that I'm able to still show up in my purpose, but I'm also able to still show up in my calling as a mother and a wife. So to be able to not stretch myself too thin and to be able to still be in purpose, I started getting collaborators and they host on behalf. And it's important for them to understand, and it's important for them to really know what it is that is expected of them emotionally, and like I said, psychologically, and all those things. So I have a few collaborators I'm working with, and I will probably be sharing them with you because we're going to plan something, and you'll probably meet them. But I'm just praying about, who God wants to use, what it is that must, it's just, I just need to be prayed up a bit more. So as I'm getting more of them on board, that is, I have so many people approaching me, and I, just like smile or say, like I'll get back to them all, because I am, yeah, it's just, it's not just hosting. I think that is what I'm trying to say. It's really not just hosting. And with that being said, I am grateful for the opportunity that I have to be traveling, to be seeing the world. This was also a prophecy my husband spoke over my life. I think I need to mention that. He said, I will travel, I will live in purpose, I will have a job that and a business that I love, that I enjoy, that feels natural. Even though bits of this doesn't always feel natural, because I have to really work on my character quite a bit. I have to really show up. I have to really, my heart posture must always be right. Um, and I must make sure that I'm in check. And I the prophecies, I'm living in that prophecy now. My support system is so strong. My mom, my mom-in-law, my husband, my kids. I don't think I could have done it without them. My friends, or just my pillars, the people that have gone on the previous trips, they just naturally become family, fam, gem, fam. They are, I have so many friendships that's come from it. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a part of it, and it's beautiful to witness. So with that being said, tomorrow is our second birthday, and I'm going to add some clips now of the birthday, and I hope you enjoy it. I always say that Fem Power started because there's a need for women to connect. There's a need for us to feel empowered, because the enemy knows if he has a hold of the woman's mind, or if he has a hold of keeping the woman in a dark place, that the family, the marriage becomes that. If you are able to touch the woman of the home, I'm telling you, if the power of God's able to touch the woman in the home, that woman will light up the home. I've had my first male that placed the order for a couples retreat, and I was saying to God, even the men will start seeing what God is doing on these trips, because we never leave the same. I am so grateful that you watched this entire video, and I would love to one day meet you and see you on one of the Fem Power Luxury Retreats trips. Take care. Bye. But let me show you how far we are. Rails event said we're gonna be stylish. We're gonna be stylish. This one says she has a meeting with me Monday. I don't know why she has a meeting with me. I don't even know why she's has a... She has a meeting with me. Rajan het niks gemaak. Rajan moet nou aan die meeting sit. Nee, sy moet minutes vat. No, I don't want to do it with no background. That can't we do it here? Can't we do it? Hey? Wait. This one, there's a bit dingus behind it. No man, it's too hidden. It's a feature, it's a big feature. You don't want to hide it. We're just looking for a place to set up the backdrop. I'm thinking, yeah, the stage is going to be there. And then we're going to dance, yeah. This is... Hey? There must be something. We'll figure it out quickly. We'll show you when we're done. Can we have a moment for the band? That's on time. Actually, way on time. Almost 2 hours. Like literally. Can we have a moment for the band? Guys really went to arrange the band. That's just how they roll. That's just how they roll.
And I said, girl, the self-love is strong. The woman empowerment is so strong. You might be the leader of the band. I'm not lying to you. Go look at the Zanzibar content. Go look at those fine women walking in two-piece swimwear. Because there's something about empowering each other. There's something about your light giving someone else permission. And that is the Fem Power power. Is that we come together to empower each other. And I know there's a lot of stigmas and negative things, but I can guarantee it's different with Fem Power. And I don't know why. And I can only say that it's God. And I can only direct it to God. So I am asking you one small favor. After this, we're going to dance. We're going to do everything. But God has been so good the past few years. And I just want to sing the song. Not me sing it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to sing it. And you can do the song. I just want him to do the chorus, and then after this we can continue, but I need to bless the Lord, and I need to say he's done great things. And even if that is in your own life, you know where you're at. No matter what faith you are, you know where you're at. You know that God has done great things. 2 years, and every single trip there is a manifestation. So I'm going to hand over to them, and when they're done, I'm going to continue with the rest of my speeches.
Feel free. Oh, 1, 2, 3.